So most recently I posted a video concerning the abduction of 13 girls, one of which was the famous Pamela Chisompa, who had gone missing for 6 months. And I would like to offer a rebuttal on my previous video. The Zambian police and their conduct, the authorities in general and their conduct in this entire situation has been appalling, to say the least. It has been very unprofessional, and here's why I say why. So there are two versions of this story. One, where the females practically rescued themselves, and two, the version that the police have that paints them as the hero of the day. So we are aware that ZICTA, the association in Zambia that is in charge of anything cyber related, in association with the authorities and some political parties, have been known to have shut down the internet last year during the elections. So Zambians were unable to access their WhatsApp, their Facebook, anything internet related, and they had the power to do that. Not only that, but you understand that during that time, during the elections, people had to resort to the use of VPNs in order to access the internet in a more different way. What is appalling to me is the fact that they had the capacity, they had the technology to shut down the internet last year during something completely politically driven, but were unable to trace the video that depicts the young woman being beaten. I don't think you understand this. A WhatsApp video was circulated all over Facebook and ZICTA did nothing. It took them 6 months to find one woman. The one woman that they knew was missing. They didn't know about the remaining 12. I don't know about you, but that spells out a lot of neglect on their part. The most disgusting part now is now that the authorities are coming forward with their version of the story of what actually went down. So we know that these young women were helped out of the situation with the help of one brave young girl who had, the courage to jump over the fence and seek for help outside. The police were then called after they discovered that 12 other women were also being held captive. The first people to arrive at the scene were civilians.
Nafuaka wamaayi bafikalaba mona eka nka shrine aka kode muna kakadira tage seka shrine po banshika shonse bazo na bagai coffin. This is a coffin. Limbali mwine chikamba chako.
After which they called the authorities, who later came and took them to the police station. If anything, I'll just say they provided the transportation. Then the authorities come up with their version of the story that paints them as the heroes of this story. So now the story is that the police were the ones that tracked the location where these 13 women were held, and upon seeing the police, one of the perps ran away and they decided to pursue him. They didn't catch him, came back, and then just, rescued. That story doesn't even add up. You are trying to cover your tracks, to hide your incompetence in this matter. And it's very blatant to the people that you are not the ones that rescued these women. Let us learn to give credit where it is due. If you do not do your job, others will do it for you, clearly. So not only that, but you go ahead on social media to create a false positive image of yourself so that you take all the glory. You do not acknowledge the civilians that were involved in this case, the very civilians that made, the rescue of these women possible. You also go a step further by painting these young women as helpless victims. Clearly they were not. One of them managed to escape and, look for help. I don't know if you see the discrepancy between what actually happened and what the police are telling the public. I will continue acknowledging the right individuals that were involved, that made the rescue of these women possible, because it is only then that we see the true incompetence, the true neglect that the police had shown in this case. I would just also love to thank how poetically all this ended. These women were captured by two hooligans of men and were later rescued by men, proving that not all of them as gruesome as these men were. It's quite poetic to me because it shows them that these men are not the bad fruit of the world. They actually care. It shows the the concern, the understanding that Zambian men have to protect their women. The crowd that showed up, the crowd that emerged from absolutely nowhere when these women were discovered, I'd like to thank those people too, because then it brought light to the seriousness of the issue. This mob really highlighted how much the police were not doing. They highlighted the importance of, social justice, communal social justice in this case. The police should be ashamed. They should give credit where it's due. They should employ people based off of competence, not because somebody's a bully. I will keep saying this. We need to change the level of qualifications that are required for you to go into a police academy. Maybe perhaps we'll have much more concerned authorities than we've been led to believe. So I don't know about you, okay? I was just here to offer my rebuttal about the whole situation because it came to light the police were painting a completely different story as opposed to what had actually went down in this situation. So I'll leave it to you, okay? What do you think? Is there any form of acknowledgement or competence exhibited by any of these authorities that are, mandated to protect us? I do not feel safe as a human being. I do not feel safe as a woman because even if my case was taken to the police, they would search for me for how long? 24 hours and then call it quits? That's not who I want cases like this to be in the hands of. Do you understand that it could happen to anyone? It could happen to your sister, your mom, your aunt, your brother. It could happen to anyone. And these are the people you are mandating with protecting your lives. I believe we should do better.